Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, especially sparkly makeup. And today I'm doing another Glam Shop video, and as you know, Glam Shop does sparkles really well, and they recently released a new green palette and I'm so excited because after I reached out asking if I was still on the PR list, they ended up sending me a huge box with basically the last releases that I haven't gotten, and this was one of them. And I had this on my wish list and I was planning to purchase it. I just had to like fill up my cart to make the shipping worth it, but they ended up sending it to me and it is so stunning. So I just had to make a video on this today. I received the package, I think it was yesterday or at least a few days ago, and yeah, I just really want to show you guys this palette because I assume that a lot of you guys also like the same colors as I do if you're here on my channel. So I will show you some swatches. I will show you this look that I created right here using this palette. So if you're interested in seeing that, then keep on watching. That is the whole palette. I think it is such a cohesive palette, and you guys already know if you've been here before on my channel that I absolutely adore this kind of colors. It reminds me of sunflowers. I have a sunflower tattoo. Personally, sunflowers is my favorite flower and I just love those colors so much. I'm just gonna show you with some different lighting now. So I have my flashlight right on the side here. I think you can already see all the sparkles and the shifts, but this way it will be even more obvious. So you can see that the first one is a sparkly shimmer that is very much a duochrome. It has a very brownish red base. It has a very lime green shift, but it goes through, I would say red to pink almost. Yeah, you can just see that it's very duochrome at least. The second one does really look like a crystal shadow because they do have a formula that they call crystals, and this looks just as sparkly as those, which is like super foiled but sparkly at the same time. And this is just a gray kind of tone. For the mattes, I do really love the undertones of these two shadows. I think the mustard is beautiful and you can do so much with these two together. Just blending it out with the mustard, like the deep shade with the mustard, or even just those two, and then you have this very light, almost, I would say it's a beige, but with a very heavy yellow and a little bit green undertone to it. So those are really beautiful. This shade right here does look super special to me. It has a very light minty base, and it has pink and almost a little bit of purple and gold and green sparkles. So you can see that it's very stunning. I think this one layered on top of the deep matte will just look very beautiful, or just alone with some of the lighter shades, of course. And this shade definitely seems like one of their pastel multichromes. You can see that purple shift right there. So it is a very shifty shadow. It has a more warmer toned brown base, but it has green to blue to purple shifts throughout the shadow. And I completely forgot to mention this one. It's not my favorite in the palette, but it's a very deep foresty green that shifts to blue. And this one is very similar, but it's a little bit warmer toned, and you can see it has way more of the gold to it, and it doesn't go as far as to the blue shift as the previous one right here does. So I do kind of prefer this one, and I feel like you didn't necessarily need both, but I think they're both beautiful. Now, I will definitely say this is a very cohesive color story. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Of course, it's going to end up somewhere in the realm of green and mustardy, and well, I guess this one is kind of neutral, the first one there. If I could do just one change with this one, my subjective meaning, I would have maybe removed this shade right here and added something a little bit more yellowy or orangey toned, just to get a little bit more versatility of the palette. But I still think that you will get a lot of different looks with just this shade. You have the silvery one, you have this, which is more of a minty one. If you want something a little bit more subtle but shifty, you have that pastel multichrome. So I do really appreciate all the different formulas in this palette, and I think it's so gorgeous. And now I'm going to show you a look, and I'm not even sure what to use, but you already saw it in the intro, so let's just get started with that. So for this look, I'm going to be using this one in the outer corner, and I'm going to like wing it out a little bit, and then I'm going to be blending it out with this one. Or maybe I will actually blend it out with this one and use this for the inner corner and blend it with this one, so I can make a slightly halo eye. Let's just try that, and I think I'm going to use this one for the lid. So I'm just starting out with this one. This is one of my favorite brushes. It's 022 from Glam Shop. You can see I picked up a lot just by basically dabbing in a little bit. So these ones are very fragile, like we're usually used to with Glam Shop, so I should have been more careful. So I was starting to apply it, and I did get a whole lot of fallout, so do be aware of that if you're interested in this palette at all, or just when using it in general. And this is looking a lot lighter than I was expecting, and I'm just going to try to follow the shape of my eye, so basically like the crease here, to make sure I have it dark right there. Now I'm going to be using this one, as I said, and I'm just going to use... I need to be really careful now when dipping into these. Just look at... I was just placing this one, not like super harsh, but a little bit, and now I have this much product. So I think actually I will just place down this brush really carefully right now, and I'm going to take a different brush, WG1, and I'm going to be taking the mustard shade, because then I can use everything that I picked up on the other brush and blend out both the green and this one. This one, yeah, it's picking up nicely. It's also a little bit fragile, but just be careful and it'll be fine. Oh, this is so pigmented. This is just my favorite kind of color, just a mustardy yellow. And I'm also considering now to make this kind of a deeper look than it is right now, because I was expecting this one, this green, to be a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can see. I feel like it's not as deep as in the pan, but maybe I will just use a tiny bit of maybe like this shimmer or something, because the shimmers certainly have a little bit more depth than the mattes. So now I'm taking that brush, the brush I'm using, did I say what brushes I used? I'm all over the place today. The previous brush I was using was WG1, this is WG2, and where do I even start? I think I'll just place it here because I have so much on the brush right now. That's a beautiful transition shade. I really like this tone. I don't necessarily know if it does too much of a difference than the other shade does, because I could have just used a little bit of this one and maybe it would look basically the same, but it's still a really cool shade. For the shimmers, I have decided I will go in with this one, and I'm going to apply this first and see how much I like it, because I want to maybe deepen up the outer corner either with, I was thinking this one and maybe this one to deepen up the inner corner of the lid, but maybe I'll just be happy with this one because I do have enough depth and I love the colors and how they look together. So I'm just gonna apply my glam glue and then this one, and it does look so stunning, so I would love to see how it looks all over the lid too. That is looking so pretty and sparkly. I don't know if I even want anything else. So I just finished the base makeup. I used a lot of Glam Shop products. I used their Classic foundation in Alabaster 1. I mixed it with the white mixer. Then I used their cream bronzer in the shade Hazelnut, I think. Yeah, in the shade Hazelnut, because I feel like that is both a bronzer and a contour for me. And then I used the Pokusa highlighter. I think that's what it's called. Well, it's actually called Seduction. It's the lightest one from the Pokusa Temptation collection that they had. I don't think it's available anymore, but it's one of my favorite highlighters. And yeah, I also used some other new lip products. So this is like the Ombre. It's kind of like a lip crayon. I will just leave everything down below. And now I'm ready to do the lower lash line before I put on my lashes. I will also do something in the waterline, which I will also just leave down below in the description box. But I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of that green shade and just use it for the outer corner. And then I'm going to use the mustard shade. And I'm just applying that mustard shade all over the lower lash line right here. I don't really have much for the shadows to stick on right here, but looks like it's applying nicely. And I think I will be using my Rude Cosmetics liner, so I'll probably just use the one that's called Sunflower. It's kind of like a yellowy, warm-toned eye pencil. And for the inner corner, I think I'll just use the one that I already have on the lid. I just think it's a beautiful shade and I don't want to get something outside of the palette, so I'll just do that, put on some lashes and mascara and stuff, and show you the close-up with some different lighting. That was the close-up of this look, and I just love how it turned out. The shimmer is so sparkly and the mattes blended so beautifully, although they are very fragile, so I had to be very careful when dipping my brush into the pan. So all in all, I have a really good first impression of this palette. Glam Shop always nails their palettes, and I can see myself using this palette so much. And I did use the lipstick that I was talking about. I will leave it down below, but I will change it up now because I just got these new melt lipsticks during their sale. This one is called Lose My, and then it's a hashtag. So I just wanted to like apply that on top of whatever I have on here, which is the Glam Shop stuff. It's beautiful, it's neutral, it's like almost my perfect nude, but I do want it to be a little bit more grungy, so I'll just apply this one on top. There we go. It's a lot deeper than I thought, but I still like it. It's really beautiful. It's a very grungy shade on me. Okay, so I just changed up the lighting a little bit because I thought it was looking so bright. But yeah, that was my look and my swatches with this, what do I call it? Fine Herbs palette. I really like it. I'm definitely going to be using this a lot for more neutral looks. For example, using these. I love to use greens as neutrals because, I mean, to me, greens like this are neutral. And I was really excited to see more green from Glam Shop because I feel like Glam Shop doesn't necessarily do that much green, so I hope they will do even more green in the future, for example in single shadows. That would be really awesome. And talking about single shadows, they usually do release the shadows from their palettes as single shadows later, but it usually takes at least a few months until they do that. But for example, if you just want the special shades or just a few of the mattes, then you can purchase those separately if you wait. But I will say that the palette itself is usually cheaper on sale than if you buy several of the singles, so just take that into account. But I think that's it for this video. I would love to hear what you think of this palette. If you already picked it up, is it on your wish list? Just look at those shifts, it's so pretty. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you want to see more Glam Shop, more single shadows content, because I have so much planned for, well, I guess the summer. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!